was alive that evening. The heat of the setting sun hovered in the air, mixing with the sounds of a busy town. In the heart of the city, Goat's Haven buzzed with activity. Men gathered around the tables, drinking down cold beer as their voices filled the air with loud conversations and loud laughters. The tasty aroma of pepper soup, grilled fish, and suya drifted out from the kitchen. Mama Gold stood behind the counter, her golden earring shining in the evening light. Her laughter rang out above the clamor as she bantered with her regular customers, the ease in her voice masking with the cunning behind her business. She was a woman everyone knew, loved, and respected. To the people of Amanti, Mama Gold was a success story, a woman who had built her beer parlor from nothing, employing young girls from poor villages who had no other way to survive. Girls came and went frequently, working at Goat's Haven before disappearing quietly from town. Few ever have asked where they went. Everyone assumed they have returned to their villages. But behind the curtain of the cheerful businesswoman, Mama Gold operated a secret darker and far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. Late into the night, after the customers left and the noise of Amanti had died down, the back room of Mama Gold's house came to life. Hidden behind the beer parlor, separated by a door few ever noticed, was a windowless room where Mama Gold kept her real business girls, barely teenagers, brought in from all over the region. The room was cold, and the smell of dampness clung to the air. The girls, dressed in faded wrappers, huddled on tin mattresses, staring blankly at the floor. Fear had long since numbed their hearts. Aisha, Mama Gold barked as she stormed into the room, her voice hard and sharp, a contrast to the woman she was in the day. Aisha was the newest girl, barely 17, looked up with defiant eyes. She had been brought to Amanti with the promise of work, a promise of a better life. Instead, she found herself trapped in this prison, forced to cater to the desires of wealthy men who paid handsomely for her innocence. Aisha is a young girl from a faraway town from Amanti. She is an orphan, and in her struggles to survive, she left her town to Amanti in search of a greener pasture. When she came across Mama Gold's restaurant, Mama Gold listened to Aisha's peaceful story. Knowing she is a helpless girl, decided to take advantage of her innocence for her shady businesses. Aisha, my dear, I have a space where you can work and earn an honest living, but you have to promise me of being a good girl and do exactly as I instruct. I promise, Mama, I will not disappoint you. I promise to be a good girl. Thank you, Ma. Aisha said excitedly and thanked the heaven for blessing her through Mama Gold. Aisha started working for Mama Gold in her restaurant as a waitress, helping her attend to her customers, unknown to Aisha that Mama Gold wants her to be more than a waitress. When Aisha realized Mama Gold's plan to use her, this saddened her heart. She coiled up in her room, thinking of a way to escape from Mama Gold's evil plan. You don't eat, you don't talk. What's wrong with you? Mama Gold hissed, her patience wearing thin. She shouted over Aisha, the smell of sheep perfume and cigarette smoke overwhelming the air. "I didn't come here for this," Aisha muttered under her breath, staring down at her hands. Mama Goat chuckled darkly. "Oh, you think you have a choice, eh? You think you're special? You will do as you're told, or I will make sure you regret it." Aisha didn't flinch. She had heard threats before, but Mama Goat was different. There was something chilling about the coldness in her eyes. This wasn't the woman who laughed and flirted with her customers in the bar. She was a predator, and Aisha knew she had to escape before it was too late. Hey guys, please, you can always support this channel by subscribing, turn on your notification bell, comment, like and share with friends, and cheers to my founding subscribers of this channel. Please stay tuned till the end. Thank you. The next evening, the joint was lively once again. Mama Goat moved between tables, pouring drinks and laughing with customers. Her gold earrings swaying with every movement, but her eyes constantly flicked to the door. She was expecting someone important. Just as the sun dipped below the horizon, a black SUV pulled up outside the parlor, its engine pouring like a dangerous beast. From it stepped down Chief Odion, a man whose wealth and influence stretched far beyond Amanti. His large frame moved with the evidence of a man who always got what he wanted. As he entered the joint, the room fell into a hushed respect. Mama Goat flashed him a wide smile and gestured towards the back room with a slight nod. "Chief," she said, her voice very low and sweet, "your room is ready." Chief Odion didn't bother responding with words. His gaze slid past her and towards the shadowy corridor that led to the back of the establishment. He walked with a deliberate stride, his shoes clicking ominously against the concrete floor. The anticipation hung thick in the air, like a storm waiting to break. Inside the room, Chief Odion sat with Mama Goat, his eyes fixed on the door where Aisha stood. She had been forced into a faded dress, her face pale with dread. Mama Goat sat across from him, her fingers lightly drumming on the table. "She's fresh," Mama Goat poured. 17. No man has touched her yet. Chief Odion's face remained expressionless, but his eyes darkened with desire. "And the price?" Mama Goat leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. 10 million naira. "But for you, Chief, I can make it 8. A slight smile spread across Chief Odion's lips. "Good. You know what I want, Mama." "Of course, Chief. Everything will be taken care of," Mama Goat replied, the glint of business in her eyes. Aisha's heart pounded in her chest. The walls of the room felt as though they were closing in on her, the air thick and suffocating. Her mind raced, but she knew that any wrong move would seal her fate. That night, Aisha couldn't sleep. She lay on the hard mattress, her body trembling as she thought of what was to come. She couldn't let them take her, not like the other girls. She had to leave tonight, she muttered to herself. As the noise in the bar died down, and Mama Goat's heavy footstep receded into the night, Aisha made her move. Slowly, she crept to the window, her heart racing as she tried to pry it open. It was jammed shut, and panic began to rise in her throat. But she couldn't give up. With a burst of strength, she pushed harder and the window finally gave way, creaking open just wide enough for her slim frame to slip through. The air outside was cool and Aisha felt it wash over her like freedom. She glanced around, her eyes scanning the dark alley behind the bar. No one was in sight. She took a deep breath, then began to run. It wasn't long before Mama Gold realized something was wrong. She had gone to check on Aisha, ready to prepare her for the night's dark ritual, only to find the room empty. The window wide open. Fury surged through her as she screamed for Agnes, her loyal assistant. "She's gone! Find her now!" Mama Gold's voice was a growl of pure rage, her face twisted in anger. Agnes and two men, thugs who works for Mama Gold, grabbed flashlights and sprinted into the night. They knew the city's back alleys well and were determined to bring Aisha back. Aisha ran through the dark streets, her feet clapping against the dirt roads. Her breaths were raised, her legs burning with tiredness, but she didn't dare stop. She continued to run. She could hear the men's footsteps closing in on her, their voices shouting her name in the distance. "Aisha, you can't hide. You can't hide from us. Stop there." Fear gripped her, but she refused to stop. She turned into a narrow alley, her heart hammering in her chest as she spotted the marketplace ahead. If she could make it there and blend into the crowd, maybe, just maybe, she could escape, she thought in her mind as she continued to run as fast as her leg can carry her. Bursting into the marketplace, Aisha's voice cracked with desperation as she screamed on top of her voice, "Help! Please, someone help me! Help me!" The few vendors who remained in the market turned, confused and alarmed by the sight of a girl running barefoot, her face drenched with sweat and fear. She stumbled and fell to the ground, but before the thugs could reach her, a small crowd had begun to form around her. "Young lady, what's going on?" someone asked her, her voice filled with concern. Aisha looked up at the faces staring down at her. "Mama Gold, she's selling us, the girls, the babies. Please help me." The murmurs of confusion quickly turned into horror as the crowd began to understand the gravity of what was happening. Mama Gold, the beloved businesswoman, selling girls. The truth was too shocking to accept at first, but Aisha's terror was real and undeniable. The crowd grew and soon the authorities arrived. Agnes and the men disappeared into the shadows before they could be caught. But it was too late for Mama Gold. When the police stormed Mama Gold's haven, Mama Gold was calm, sitting at her bar with a cigarette between her fingers. She didn't fight, she didn't argue. She simply stared at them with that cold smile she always wore, the one that masked the monster underneath. As they placed her in handcuffs, she turned to the officer in charge, her voice soft and amused. "They will always come to me. Business is business." But as she was led away, the truth of her dark empire unveiled across Amanti, leaving the town scarred by the revelation of what had been hidden in plain sight for so long. Mama Goat's reign was over, but the memories of her dark deeds would haunt Amanti for years to come. And the other girls who are in her captive was rescued by the authorities and returned to their various locations safely and unharmed. Thank you for staying tuned till the very end. Hope you enjoyed this story. Please share with me in the comment section what lessons you have learned from this wonderful story. And also, for my new viewers, don't forget to subscribe to my channel at African Story Tales by Abby. Like, share and comment. Share with family and friends and your loved ones. And stay tuned for more interesting and mind-blowing stories coming your way. I remain your favorite storyteller, African Story Tales by Abby. Bye!